5 things you should be adding to your stockpile right now. Let's discuss. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano and Frank, the Patriot Bald Eagle here. Tonight we are drinking Dunkin' coffee. If you had to hit pause on this video to get your coffee or whatever beverage you deem necessary, go ahead and do that now, as this will most likely be a bit of a lengthy discussion. It's not going to be too long, but I have 5 items here, 5 things that we need to talk about that we may need to start adding to our stockpile as we go along here. In times of economic uncertainty, pandemics, these kind of things, different natural disasters, things going on overseas, things of uncertainty, we need to make sure that we're stocking up on some of these things. And as we continue to hear about different food shortages around the country and around the world, the next time you go to your grocery store, you may want to think about picking up a couple of these different items that we're going to be going over. Now, I have 5 that I've put on this list tonight. I wanted to keep it simple, but this is something that if you don't know already, or if you do, it's something that we need to be reminded. If you're enjoying our content on the channel, don't forget to subscribe down below. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, as it does help spread the message around the country and around the world. Okay, number 1. Canned goods. Okay, canned goods. And this could mean anything. And this is something where you got to pick and choose things to what you know you're going to eat. Never buy things that you're never going to eat. That is the one thing we always say on the channel. If you're going to stock up on things, if you don't like it, if you don't like these kind of beans, don't stock up on the beans, because it's just going to go to waste. It's just going to sit there, and you will most likely end up maybe giving it away to somebody at some point, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But you don't want to waste your money these days in a world where it is very hard for everyone. Whether you're on a budget, whether you're not, grocery prices are through the roof, and we need to pay attention to these things. Different canned goods I put on here. Canned fruits are great to put in your stockpile. And again, depending on your budget or not, you can go with Del Monte or Dole, or you can go with store brands. But even store brands are going up in price. And this is kind of what we do. It's a lot of things we focus on the channel during the morning time. The morning we have our boots on the ground, searching for different items, to try and save as much money as possible for you and us. Second in this, now I kind of had it in groups. This is all canned goods. These are just ones that is, in my opinion, very good to keep in the back of your mind when you're thinking of adding things to your stockpile. Part of that under canned fruits, I had canned vegetables. Canned vegetables are always good to have. And I know frozen vegetables are better, they taste better, but something ever happens and your power goes out, like we went over before, a natural disaster, or just the power goes out for some other weird reason. It's good to have canned vegetables, because you may, if you don't have a deep freezer, if you don't have a generator, right, you're not going to be able to power up your house. You're not going to be able to power up your freezer. So always good to have some extra canned goods on the back burner, in case something happens, especially if it's for a long period of time. We are in winter here. So, if there's a bad winter storm and you don't get power for a week, you still want to be able to add some different nutritional factors into your meals with some canned vegetables. I also have canned meats and canned fish. By canned fish, that could be your own preference. Canned fish, whether you like tuna, whether you like salmon, always good to look at the different prices of these things, but just always good to have the ones that you're going to eat. If you don't like tuna, don't eat tuna. If you like canned salmon has been going up in price at some of the grocery stores lately, but, maybe sacrifice some of the extra price just to know that you have it, right? You're going to eat it eventually anyway. And I guess that's kind of the simple point to all this. But canned meats, all kinds of canned meats. But, I know a few of you on the channel here that don't like the canned meats. Maybe try some different options. Today I went to Sam's Club to do a lot of items at Sam's Club that are definitely worth stocking up on. One of them is the Butterfield meats. Okay, those are really good. It's $15.98 for 5 cans. 5 cans, I think. 4 or 5 cans, but it's really good quality. And then, you also have Keystone, but Keystone's getting, Keystone hasn't gone up in price lately, but it is good quality. It is good quality. Some people really like Great Value too, and Great Value canned meats are probably the best deal around. And a lot of great value canned items are very good in taste, quality. So, something to remember. Okay, so second grouping on this list is dried goods. Always good to have some dried goods, dehydrated items, things that you can put away in your pantry, put away in your stockpile, add to these things, with things going up in price constantly with peanuts and cashews and stuff like this. Whenever you find a good deal on it, it may be a good idea to stock up on some of these things. I have nuts, seeds, dried fruits, and vegetables. Any kind of dried vegetables, anything that has a long shelf date of these kind of things. And again, these are just some of my different opinions. This isn't something that, I'm saying go out and get this stuff, but it's stuff that I feel, me and Jessica feel, are good to have, like just to have, in case of anything. And, we eat these things not even worried about that. We just make sure that we rotate our stuff, because if it starts sitting for a long period of time, yeah, you want to rotate it out. And this is a good way, when you find some of these sales and deals, try some of this stuff. So, in the future, when you do it, when you need it, or if you don't have a choice, you're going to want to eat this stuff in the future. You don't want to buy a bunch of things that you're never going to eat. I can't stress that enough. I've bought a lot of things in the past, and it's like, luckily I've tried all of them, and I know what not to buy or what we're never going to eat or want to eat. I mean, if you're hungry, it's a whole different story. You'll pretty much eat anything as long as you don't have an allergen to it or something. Okay, number 3 on the list, I went over grains here. And now these were a lot, and a few of these I've picked from a lot of our viewers on the channel who have talked about stocking up on some of these items. Biggest one is rice. With shortages of rice all around the world right now, maybe not so much where you live, but it is a serious issue around the world, maybe outside of the States here. Prices are going to continue to go up on rice and stuff. Now, I will say we've seen some pretty good prices on rice at like Costco and Sam's Club. They've kept it down. But we are starting to see them increase at places like Kroger, even Walmart. Okay, Walmart's even raising their prices. Meijer has raised some of their prices on rice. So whenever we come across some of these different deals on some of these items, make sure you take notice. And if it's something that you like, make sure you buy it up, add to your stockpile. Quinoa and oats. Okay, these are things that, now I've read some articles in the past that we may see some of these things start to fly off the shelves or disappear for a while. Now, with regular oats, I'm not really, we had that big recall with Quaker, and it was funny because I was getting ready to put a video together on different oats and stuff, and then when that happened, we ended up covering the entire Quaker oatmeal recall, which seems like it's just been getting bigger and bigger. And that's like granola bars, some of the cereals, some other cereals. If you want any information on all the crazy amount of Quaker Oats recalls, make sure you check the FDA website, because they have an entire list. Food Safety News has an entire list of it. If you don't want to go to that, Food Safety News is a good one. They're basically taking all the information from the FDA website anyway. And if you just want to get direct to it, the FDA website has it all lined up with the numbers, best if used by codes, lot codes, stuff like that. So you'd be able to match it up right away with something that you have in your pantry or cabinets or something, and be able to tell right away. But that is something that I do believe, and just from all the information that we've gotten over the last few months, I have to assume that it's going to get harder and harder for things like rice and oats. And quinoa has been mentioned a lot for some reason. So if you like the quinoa, like some of the seeds of change, quinoa and brown rice, stuff like that, I would definitely maybe not worry so much about the price. The next time you're at the store, I would just buy up some, because that has been coming up a lot in some of the different articles that you and I have read over the last few months that we've been covering this. Okay, so that covers grains. Next one on the list, beans and lentils. Dry beans, lentils, these things we continue to see kind of disappear in some stores, but they've come back. I know, like a lot of things that we've been talking about and reading about with dry beans and lentils and stuff like that. The only thing I've really noticed to take notice is that the prices have gotten outrageous. Dry bean prices are ridiculous. They're getting, even at Walmart, they're starting to get really expensive. Okay. Lentils are supposed to be going up in price soon, and some people have been commenting on the channel that you have not been able to find lentils. Now, I will say, You know, there's a lot of places that we can seek out to try and find some of these different things. Some dry bean options. You know, I was starting to think that Dollar Tree was getting rid of theirs. The last few times before this last time I went, they were completely restocked the last time I went. So I'll say that first. But it had been like a month, maybe almost 2 months, that they were out of dry beans. And then I found that, I don't know if you saw that video, but I found one bag of red kidney beans. We did see where they shrunk in size from 16 ounces to 12 ounces at Dollar Tree as well, but we're going to see more and more shrinkflation as we go along at places like Dollar Tree, because places that aren't raising their prices up to some of these crazy prices at Kroger, because a lot of that has to do with the manufacturer just charging more, and that could be one of a million different factors. I mean, it could. It could. From transportation issues to these, just so many different things. I'm not going to go over all of them. But number 5 on this list, and I got to say, this is probably should have been number 1. I don't know why it's always the last thing that I talk about, but it's kind of the no-brainer here, especially with the thousands of people that have been talking about it on the channel here, is water. Bottled water. We stock up on water like crazy when I find a sale on it. That is the one thing that I make sure we always have bottled water, because you just don't know these days. You don't know with everything getting so expensive. I mean, and you can tell it shows. Supply and demand, bottled water prices have been going through the roof. We saw Ice Mountain, where it's 24 pack at Kroger for $6.29. Even their 40 packs of water that were always like $3.99, saw them go up to $4.29. Now they're $5.99 regular price. For Kroger, I put a little filter on it and turn the hose on, and here's the bottled water. I mean, that's what it tastes like. I'm sure that's not the way it is. They call it purified drinking water, but it tastes like I'm drinking water out of the hose. Maybe that's what we should be doing. You know how they have those memes where they say, well, I don't get sick because I drank water from the hose growing up. I don't know. I did. I'm not going to lie. I was a kid outside. Give some to the yard, spray some to the yard, some for me, some to the yard, some for me. Never had an issue with it. Never. But nowadays, I guess we have issues with everything. Guys, we need to be prepared. We need to make sure that we are stocking up on these things as we see them. If you are new to the channel, this is what we do. During the daytime, about 8:30 in the morning Eastern time, every day I am visiting somewhere. Whether it's a grocery store or a thrift mart or just wherever. It's kind of our fun vlog trip of the day. And then if I can, I try to do these coffee rants at night to cover some of the news and keep you in the know of everything else going on. It's crazy times, guys. It's crazy times. I haven't really, it's been kind of hard to focus on doing multiple videos a day, but I did notice, and I can't even, we had a few different train derailments, guys. Few more train derailments, all within a couple days. I haven't even had time to look into it. It's just crazy. And it's like when it rains, it pours. And, when I saw this, I've been putting together this video to do this video on covering some of the different shortages that we're seeing, right? Because this is in part, when we have economic instability, we don't know what's going to happen. And that has been the way of the last few years. I read one article that says prices are coming down. I read one article that says prices are going up. Blah, 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 blah. One thing I can tell you is that, excuse me, even though we've seen some regular prices come down, which is good, we continue to see prices go up. And we're not going to see prices drop to the means of what we need to see them drop to get the economy back on track, at least in the grocery stores. I hear the same thing every day. I'm running into people who know me from the channel every day, and, how do we afford this? How do we do this? I get the same questions every day. It's disheartening in a lot of, it really is, guys. It takes from the soul. And the only answer, I give the same answer to everything. And some people even say the answer, like, buy up the sales as you see them, right? Somebody said that to me the other day. I was like, oh, yeah. That's what you got to do. The only way to save money in the grocery stores is to do that. When you see the sales, if we're at a store, if we're doing a store vlog for the day, and we're doing a lot of different things now. We're doing store vlogs, we're doing these coffee rants, we do a little bit of everything on this channel, but as we do these different grocery store videos. You know, check them out. Make sure you check, you know, look at some of the things that we're pointing out, some ways to save money, keeping your eyes off of some of the trickery going on. And we're seeing it going on pretty hardcore in a lot of grocery stores right now. That's why I kind of stress that, because I want to make sure everybody who's watching here needs to make sure you're paying attention to these things that we're pointing out. That way you are not fooled when you go to the grocery store. Because I'll tell you what, I've been fooled before. What's that famous Who song? We won't be fooled again. I live by that. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. I'll tell you what, I still, you know, and believe me, there are reasons that I have that I probably wouldn't shop at any of these stores. And I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to shop at Kroger, I don't shop at Walmart, I don't shop at Target, I don't shop at these places. But if it was all you had, you definitely would. Or find some other way. Right? I know a lot of people say that. Some people have to shop, believe it or not, some people have to grocery shop at Target because there's no other stores. So when we go to Target and do a video showing the best prices at Target, those videos are directed to everyone that has to shop at Target because, you know, there's a lot of small towns. There's towns where Target saw an opportunity, I guess, and they moved in and they said, we're going to put a grocery store here for you. And Good and Gather products are really good. You know, I mean, they have a good quality product, but there's no competition for a lot of people when it comes to these. We have a lot of people on the channel that can only shop at Dollar General. That's why I went to Dollar General the other day. I mean, I checked out a few prices, kind of added some stuff. Dollar General's prices have gotten ridiculous. They really have. And I know all stores have, but there's just something about it. Like, so much shrinkflation. We're seeing a lot of shrinkflation at Dollar General, way more than we've seen before. And I may not have talked about it as much in that last video, but I had something else I was doing. I wanted to do our little food review at Price Hill Chili, which that was a lot of fun. Tested Geta, right? Which I already know what Geta tastes like, but showed you in that video what that was like. If you want to check that video out, it's a few videos back. You can scroll back through on our page. It was, I think I titled it Shopping at Dollar General and Eating Breakfast. Just keeping it simple these days, guys. All these trying to put so much thought and everything into your title and thumbnail. Like, I'm back to just taking a picture of myself so people know what video it is, right? So if you see my happy face, hopefully I'm in a different shirt for the day. Sometimes not, though. Sometimes, like, if me and Jessica are doing something, sometimes I'll try to knock 2 videos out in a day. I've had that happen, like, wow, Dan, you didn't change your shirt. That's because I did 2 videos in a day. And I'll tell you what, boy, that's a lot of work, guys. I know if you don't do YouTube, if you're not like a YouTuber or something, the struggle is real. It is hard to do these videos. It's hard to edit them. Another reason why I like some of the coffee rants, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's like, I don't have to really do any editing. I mean, unless I mess up, right? And that happens, but I kind of just go with the flow, you know, like I take a extra long sip of coffee. Did you notice that? I hope you did. I'm trying to take the sip of coffee now without being... Some people were saying, oh, I can't stand that when you take that drink of coffee. I know. I was listening to that and I was like, oh, there's no way I can really edit that out. So sometimes I would just act, you know, push the coffee cup up and then edit it like that real quick. But no, it's in there. It's in there, so sorry if it sounded loud. But, guys, you know, these are real problems that we are going to have to face in the future with prices that continue to rise. I'm trying to make it a little more lighthearted, you know, knowing that prices are going to rise, and just throw out my 2 cents. Like, you know, these are things that we stock up on. These are things that are good to have, you know, in your stockpile in case there ever is a situation with unknowing things around the world right now, things going on that, you know, we seem to keep getting more and more involved in things that, you know, whether I believe we should or shouldn't is irrelevant. I don't think we should get involved in anything of half the things that we're getting involved in. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching the coffee rant tonight. Make sure you let me know your comments below on this situation. And if you would like to watch another video and not have to go too far, go ahead and click here. I'm going to search around, find a video to put in here that I think is most relevant to this video here. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Right here. Have a great night.